Actor Kirk Cameron is with us now. He's here to uplift us, inspire us. He's got a new book, Born to be Brave, How to Be Part of America's Spiritual Comeback. Kirk, take it away, man. Make everybody feel like it's all going to be all right.
Sure. What a setup. Boy, I'm so glad I came in right now. It actually is the most exciting time I can think of to be alive in the last 100 years. I mean, the darkness is so opaque that light is so easy to see. All people have to do is turn it on. And I'm telling you, honestly and truly, with all of my heart, as I travel the country and I'm reading books of virtue and character to children at public libraries contra drag queen story hours and political corruption and economic collapse and moral sewage, I'm finding thousands and thousands of parents and grandparents and kids coming out of the woodwork to be a part of a movement that will amplify light and light some brush fires of freedom and virtue and fan them to spread them like wildfire across the country. People are waking up. I feel the rumblings of a great awakening, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen over the next couple of years.
I love the enthusiasm, Kirk. I just saw
It's not pie in the sky, by and by optimism. This is steak on the plate reality that I see and that I believe with all of my heart.
Yeah, Clay.
Speaking of steak on the plate, Buck
that
owes
wasn't
me
a smackdown. I was just wanting you to know.
No, I know. I've just got to buy Clay expensive steak soon in like a week. That's what that is.
He made a poor decision that he thought Joe Biden was going to stay in the race, and I said, of course not. He's going to drop out. But, Kirk, I saw you, what night was it? Monday night at the Am I Racist premiere for Matt Walsh's new film. And you have now moved to my hometown of Nashville. Welcome. It's always good to add new Tennesseans. But I want to also congratulate you. You have 6 kids of your own, but you just became a grandfather.
Yes.
What is the experience like? You obviously have had a bunch of kids already. What does it feel like to be a grandfather?
It's thrilling. It's exciting. It's an exciting experience to have kids. Now when you have a grandfather, it's definitely next level. I've heard that my whole life, and now I'm experiencing it. I mean, she's got cheeks for weeks. She's already a Bills fan. She's part of the mafia. She was stressed out before the game the other day, and she just crashed when the whole thing was done. We are loving being grandparents. My wife and I are just over the moon.
It is super cool. Great. And welcome, like I said, to Nashville. Tell us about this book. So you have written a bunch of children's books now. For people out there who grew up basically watching you now, you've gone from, I would say, teen idol on Growing Pains to now a grandpa. What has that trajectory of your life been like? And at what point did you decide, hey, I really want to kind of focus on telling stories to younger kids?
Well, I'm so excited that I made it this far. I'm now a grandfather. You know, I didn't pass away in my youth like a teenage actor who just got so strung out on
which happens
drugs and
a
alcohol.
ton. Honestly, there's not very many that grow up, have 6 kids, have 1 wife, and become a grandkid who were a grandfather who were pop stars. So I mean, that is a rare pathway.
That is a blessing that I'm so grateful for. And yes, I wrote this book that you're speaking of. It's called Born to be Brave. I have been spending the last couple of years writing children's books and reading them to 3 to 5-year-olds to teach them things like the fruit of the Spirit, love, kindness, faithfulness, self-control, and humility. Contra drag queens, teaching them about pride and self-empowerment rather than self-control. And finding myself inundated by parents who say that they feel silenced and marginalized, afraid, they're not sure what to do. And then some of them throw a religious element into it and say, but that's the way the Bible says it's supposed to be. It's just going to get worse, and there's really nothing we can do about it. And I go, time out. No, I think that's totally misplaced. That hopelessness is found nowhere in the history of the family of faith or the scriptures or what I'm seeing right now. And I realized I need to put gas in the tank of the parents. I need to put wind in the sails of the grandparents, the people who actually understand why this is the greatest country in the world, so that they can have the bravery and courage to get our kids to a place of blessing and protection and teach them the things that we are losing in this country.
It's nice to hear a sense of optimism about how the battle for spirituality or the spiritual battle is playing out in this country, and that I guess the good guys and gals can win here. I mean, you're mentioning, obviously, the book, I assume, is a bit of a template or some encouragement, perhaps, coaching from the sidelines here for how people can get more involved in these battles themselves, or just give them a framework, a template for doing it. The book is Born to be Brave, How to Be a Part of America's Spiritual Comeback. And so as a new grandparent, I got to say, you got a lot of grandparents listening right now. I feel like the older I get, the more wisdom I feel comes from the older generation in a lot of ways. I'll be honest with you. How does that play into the spiritual comeback?
Yeah. Many grandparents feel like, well, I did my time and I've had my opportunity to make a difference. No. You're just getting started. If you are somebody who loves God, loves your family, and loves this country, listen, don't get bitter when you watch the news. Get better. Don't be a whiner, be a winner. Don't complain about the culture, create the culture. You have the time. You have the opportunity with the next generation. They need you. Pour into them. That's what I need to be doing. Let me ask you this question, Clay. What if the current cultural setback is really a divine setup for a spiritual comeback led by the family of faith? What if the political corruption, the moral collapse, the economic decline, the spiritual apathy is really a wake-up call for those of us who know exactly what's going on? We've been red-pilled. We see what's happening. The promises of the enemy are turning out to be fake, and now it's our time to red pill everybody else. But we've got to do it the right way. The only way out of the matrix, first of all, is to start with a heart of humility and love, and then we've got to speak the truth with boldness and with courage, starting with myself, my family, and then work our way out through our communities to the state and to the local level. And I believe that if we lean into this bravery and courage that God has given his faithful followers, we can and we will realign the nation with biblical, constitutional American values. It's happened before. It can happen again. It's called a Great Awakening, and we're due for one.
That was really well said, Kirk. And given your background in Hollywood, I have a question for you. I just mentioned we saw the Am I Racist premiere, Matt Walsh's documentary.
Such a great movie. Should be required viewing for every American.
I thought it was fantastic. He's going to be on with us Monday. But it seems to me, and I'm curious if you feel this based on your background, that even in Hollywood, I was reading in the Wall Street Journal magazine about they're making an HBO, I think it was, series about the biblical David. There certainly has been a lot, it feels to me, whether it's The Sound of Freedom, whether it's so many different movies out there, Ordinary Angels that came out. I believe the Irwin brothers are involved in those films, who are also located to a large degree here in Nashville. Do you sense that Hollywood is recognizing that there is a great cultural hunger for stories such as these, and that is allowing people to maybe connect their emptiness inside with recognizing where it's coming from? Am I crazy, or is that starting to happen even from the cultural perspective from what you see?
I feel exactly what you're feeling, and I see what you see. And what I believe is that Hollywood has been ripping off the biblical narrative since the very beginning. They have wisely recognized the stories that resonate most violently with the human heart in a good way. Stories of redemption, the hero's journey. You see it in every Marvel movie, in every Batman movie. You see it everywhere. And it's the against all odds, when all hope seems lost story, when the underdog undergoes a transformation and comes back from the impossible to win the day. And it's in Lord of the Rings, it's in Narnia, it's everywhere. And that's why I try to make the movies that I make, the books that I write, and the cartoons and children's programs that I'm producing. So that's why people need to go see movies like that. The movies you just talked about, Sound of Freedom, or the Kendrick brothers' new movie that's out called The Forge, about men mentoring and discipling the younger generation of men to give them a sense of identity and purpose and destiny. And that's why I want people to get this book I wrote, Born to be Brave, because when we support projects like this, when we listen to to radio stations like yours. What does that do? Not only does it equip us and educate us and open our eyes so we can do something, it then sends massive financial shockwaves to the industry and blows open the doors so we have more radio stations like yours. We have more books like Born to be Brave. We have more movies like The Passion of the Christ or Sound of Freedom or whatever it is to combat the evil and begin to turn the tide of the culture. Remember, a tiny vocal minority group with ridiculous ideas that are fake and lies have managed to transform what is normal today. Think of what we could do if we got a plan, worked together, and our cause was just.
I feel better about everything.
Yeah, I know.
Right now.
He's sending us into the weekend in a great mood.
So can I ask? Here's what I'd love more than anything. This is the first book that I've ever written for adults, and I want more than anything to write more books like this. And I want all of my friends who are better authors than I am to write more books like this. And the way that we can do that is if this makes it to whatever the numbers are to put me on the New York Times bestseller list, that sends a message to the publishing industry that America wants more about a spiritual comeback in America, a reviving of American first principles that leads to our blessing and protection. And then we can flood the market with that kind of stuff. I don't want it to be fringe. I want it to be mainstream.
Spiritual comeback plus capitalism. You're in the right place, my friend.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good combo.
Kirk Cameron, everybody. Born to be Brave. How to be a part of America's spiritual comeback. Check out your copy of it. Kirk, always great to have you, man. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate both of you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.